Good morning, good morning, good morning. The content presented on this channel is for informational and educational purposes only and should not be considered financial, investment, legal, or tax advice. Always, all opinions expressed are solely those of the presenter and are based on publicly available information. Investing and trading involve risk, including the potential loss of principal. Always conduct your own research and consult with a qualified financial professional before making any investment decisions. I guess it's a good morning. I guess it's a good morning. We are seeing a pretty nice size pump on Bitcoin. Volume is absolutely low, but there is some news that's backing this pump up, and apparently it has to do with crypto regulation. I kind of got a late start this morning as I was trying to go through and find that report so I could share it with you guys. So I do apologize that I can't get to that report right now. As the stream does continue, I will see if I cannot locate that information for you, but that seems to be what is based on volume. I have to give it. I have to put this this pump. So I have to give somebody else the credit for this pump because um, I just don't see it in the volume. So it can be a little bit more than a liquidity graph here. I did give a couple of updates yesterday, two updates actually yesterday after the stream ended. I went back and I gave an update on crypto, just on Bitcoin, just looking at the symmetrical triangle that Bitcoin is placed in. Um, let me skip from this chart right here for just a sec here. Put you over here on this time frame right here. So on this 1 hour time frame, I was actually using the daily time frame because we have a mother bar on the daily time frame, and we had a couple of candles grouped inside. So we have a Harami pattern on the daily time frame that's of course looking to break out. Like I was saying to you yesterday, we're just so in the center of the range. It's really hard for me to say what's going to happen here, happen there. Just in the center of the range. So I didn't have any qualifiable information to share with you yesterday, but we are getting that breakout now. So um, we got the breakout here. The mother bar high is sitting right here, so we can see the liquidity swept from the prior high. But beyond that, we do have a little bit of exhaustion in the charts. We are very high on momentum is extremely high. RSI is showing that it can continue to reach higher, as you can see from the chart that I just closed down. That momentum is still rising to the upside, but general targets for this move is going to be around $68,000. Now that's a lot. That is a lot. It's not going to get there in one swoop to the upside. Right now, I'm looking for the mother bar high to be taken out, and from there, I will be entering a short. I already have a limit order in place for Bitcoin if we do get above that high coming into market open. Um, I'm going to be a little bit rushing on the short position because, like I said, momentum is still pinned to the upside on the 1 hour, still pinned to the upside on the 4 hour, still pinned to the upside on the daily chart, still pinned to the upside. So momentum is still pinned to the upside. You can see the trend line through here. No actual breakdown from that trend line has taken place. Like we did swipe it one time over here, but no closures was below it, just a couple of wicks. So I readjusted it. I didn't readjust it a second time right here, but no closures below there. So none of the targets down low right now seem to be a thing. As you can see, remember these targets right here. None of these targets down below to the golden pocket, to the low of the range, or to the prior dip low. Momentum is still climbing. You see that? Still climbing, still climbing, still climbing, still climbing. Now we are again showing some bearish divergence. We're still not getting above this high where you see the blue line at right here. We're still not getting above that high there. But momentum is still climbing, so it could happen as soon as market opens or 8 o'clock, or it's usually around the time that I'm leaving. A little sip of my coffee there. So still pinned up, still pinned to the upside right here. See that momentum increasing into the supply zone, looking for price to get above. Well, first of all, you got the mother bar over here. So looking for price to actually get above here. Into the supply zone. We do have the 786 overhead here as well. Like I said, around 68,000 is going to be the 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 final target for me, just on a one-to-one basis of the mother bar. So 68,000 is going to be roughly what I'll be looking for. And I was sharing with you that it is not it's not the most favorable in my opinion. Not to me, it wasn't the most favorable in my opinion because it almost insinuates that the low is in. That we've already put in the bottom for Bitcoin. And from there, we'll see a few pullbacks here and there, but the low may not that may have been the low, and we'll just continue to go higher from there. So somewhere around 59,000 may have been 59 to 57 or whatever we did down here, 57. That might have just been the low. That might have just been the low. But momentum still rising to the upside, so there's really nothing to fade in here. I mean, it's a bit stretched. You're getting the bearish divergence still, and the volume is not there. The volume is not there. So some sort of pullback is on the horizon. Some sort of pullback is on the horizon, and I'm ready for it. So here's that mother bar right here. So it's this candle right here. This candle. Let me turn my magnet off. This candle right here. This is your mother bar right here. You can see the couple of bars that we were putting in inside of that mother bar for the breakout. That's the symmetrical triangle right here. And that's the breakout we just made. This is our prior range over here. Point of control sits here, right around this high right here. The point of control sits right around this high right here. That's 67,000. So if we take a look here, I use this chart right here for a good example. We take a look here. Remember, I said that the point of control was around 67,000. That prior high was around 67,000. You can see the prior lows of resistance is around 67,000. I said we wick through that and we get to about 68. So that's what I'm looking for. But before we get there, I am looking short. I got stopped out of my short position. Okay. Mm. I actually just got stopped out of my short position at this high right here. So that was where my yeah, that's it. No, not that one. I took a lot of short positions. It was this one. So you can see my entry. My entry got stopped out right there, which is cool. And the only long position I have, of course, is the one that I mentioned to you yesterday, that I entered into when I woke up in the middle of the night. It's this one. This was everything that was happening yesterday. Where price action was holding the 382 50% retracement. I really thought you could fade this pump. I ain't gonna lie. I thought you could fade the pump at the end of the day. I said, I don't know nothing. I know absolutely nothing. We just weren't getting any volume. And throughout this entire move, there's been zero volume, which is why I was left having to come in and give you guys an update on my thoughts around Bitcoin. Just really just waiting for it to break out of the range, to be honest with you. So 382, 50% shallow retracement, which means people were willing to pay a lot more money for it. That's why that's such a big deal, is because people are willing to pay higher prices to jump into the price of Bitcoin when it's holding around the 382, 50% retracement. So that held yesterday. Uh, Rejected a little bit, and here continued up, did the same thing again right here. People willing to pay more money for it. 382, 50% retracement. And still squeezing. This is the last high volume candle that we got right here. It's still petty. It's still very petty, but that's holding up. So not even losing, not even losing the VWAP right there. So still grinding higher, but definitely showing a lot of weakness right now. You turn on your volume using Trading View. You can just put the WAP on your volume candle or your volume bar, and then automatically plot it up here. I find that easier to do sometimes than trying to search for. We can't do the same thing over here with that volume that we got yesterday. I apparently called this all wrong. I should have been looking at this as capitulation of I'm sorry. I should have been looking at this as loans getting liquidated with that high volume right there, which gives you a reversal to the upside. I didn't do that, so I can't take it back. Could not take it back. Let's take a look back over here on the higher time frame. We do have a trend line through here now that's working along with that momentum increase. Now the 15-minute time frame is just kind of all over the place. You can see the bear div through here. You can see where we started to put in the bearish divergence here across the top. It doesn't mean that it's going to play out, and the reason for that is because momentum momentum is still increasing. And therefore, you end up getting all of this undertone. You end up getting bullish consolidation at the end of the day. So you'll end up seeing the bearish divergence here at the highs, but it's bullish consolidation as you look down here and you see the bullish divergence underneath. That's the main thing to look for when your RSI gets really high. You want to start looking to see if you're putting in bullish consolidation. That that keeps the price action pinned to the upside, or just zoom out to a higher time frame if you must. Which is the easiest thing to do is just move to a higher time frame sometimes. But definitely bullish divergence. Here we got bullish divs on this second drop down right here yesterday. We didn't have any over here when I was looking at it. I know we had the trend line down through here that we could be looking for price action to break to the upside, but I was thinking fade to high regardless, fade to high. Because bearish divs came in, or I was expecting for divs to come in, and the Bollinger just didn't seem like it was gonna support it. But when we got that dip down right here, we just put in bullish divs underneath it. My stream is over then. Put in bullish divergence, lower low on the oscillator, higher low on price action, continuation up, same thing. Over here, lower low on the oscillator, higher low on price action, boom to the upside, lower low on the oscillator, higher low on price action, boom to the upside, and we're just continuing with that until we're not. So this VWAP right here, I don't know how you feeling. This is somewhere around about where I have my limit order set at, right in here. Of course, it won't be like this. Just did that for reference. But let me go to daily. I'll go to a daily time frame. We take a look at this VWAP here. So this is the maybe a 4 hour is gonna be better for this explanation. What it is. Let's see. This VWAP right here. I think this was the volume. Um, I think I did this one based on. Did I do this one based on volume? No, I did do this one based on volume. So this one was based on trend, I believe. I believe it was based on the trend regression line. And I figured I would favor this one because it worked the last time right here. So that's why I actually have this one still on the chart. So I'd be looking to short right around in here. It would just be considered a scalp. Nothing, not a reversal, but if it were to turn into that, then great. Then great. But right now, I don't know that that's going to be the case for it. But that is why I'm using this particular VWAP right here. Something else that's also kind of helping me, but where I'm going to make this entry is Bollinger. Of course, the liquidity being taken, I gotta have somewhere that price action might be able to reach to, and that just seems to work out very well right there. It just seems to work very well, in my opinion. It's there. And that's 64.8. We can just say 65, right? Um, I'm trying to eat my breakfast at the same time. Late start this morning. Let me see something. Get rid of this. We're not coming back to weekend liquidity. We're going into a new weekend. I'm gonna delete all of that. Bitcoin. Mhm. Yeah, that's gonna be my first place I'll be looking at to take to enter into a short position. Um, right now we don't have any red candles coming in either. So just a couple of green candles to the upside thus far. No wick highs, no top and tails or anything like that right now. So you have no reason to really attempt to short just yet, in my opinion. It's just my opinion. If you want to have a more favorable short position, at least want to see a top and tail candle or, um, you know, a red candle come in. Doesn't have to be off of the 4 hour time frame. I don't want to make it so late on your entry, but you definitely want to see something of that nature. We have been taking liquidity for sure. You can see the bump in liquidity being taken. Um, and usually that's my go-to signal, but um, I'm being a little bit more conservative right now just because momentum is still pushing higher on this terrible freaking volume. This terrible volume. I'ma hide these right here. can revisit all of that. Yeah, still above the value area high. And it looks weird. It looks like you can't tell where I pulled it from, but it's literally pulled from right here on this mother bar. If Bitcoin only did like a mean reversion, that would just be right back into about 63.5. That's gonna change over time because it is a 1 hour time frame. It's gonna change a lot faster. It would just be right here. So if let's say we were to get that short, once above here, it's not gonna be a big move unless we for some reason were to get a back test all the way back down to the breakout zone. Right now, uh, right now I'm gonna have to lean on the mean, a mean reversion test. Those feathers are to the upside. That is to the upside. Some nice looking momentum right there. Let me zoom out. So again, very possible that we could have put in the low. I explained to you that the last time as well. I've looked at this with you several times here on the channel. When we were getting this drop down here, um, preferably, I like to see us swing below our level. We stopped at the exact top of our level. We didn't swing below it. We just stopped at the exact top of it instead of breaking it. I like to see it get broken. If I had any hopium, it would be okay. We didn't break it. We're gonna come back. We're gonna break it, and then we're gonna go. But no, we stopped. Yes. Right here. We stopped. Actually, I don't. Yeah, we stopped right here at the bottom side of it, right there. Instead of doing what we did over here, which was break below it and then come up over here. You break below it and then you come up. This is the um this is the main one right here, so you don't use that for that reason, for that purpose. But during each cycle, you did get a break below and then a reclaim up, break below, reclaim up. And this one right here, we just stopped it. We kissed it and then we moved away. We kissed it and moved away. The other thing would be, since we kissed this one and we moved away, if we're not gonna break below it, it's the historical floor. Now, the first time that we got below the floor and we swung back above, that was when we got this initial pump right here. This one, which just led us into the prior lows and VWAP. So prior lows there and VWAP. The other thing that constitutes that we will not be taking out the low is a closure above the 50. So a closure, the RSI closes above the mean. Even when you get the little pullback, doesn't matter. Once the RSI closes above the mean, price action does not go below the low. That marks the bottom of the bear market. Once it closes above the mean, that's all it takes is a closure above the mean. And then that's it. Like, you don't come back. I'm looking for that. If I can't tell right here, then that's the thing that I'll be looking for. It's just the closure above the mean. Closure above the mean. First pullback we get will not take out this low. So that's where you're that's where you can take on a little bit more risk, in my opinion, for the continued swing to your side. Once we once we get a closure above the mean here on the monthly. But for now, basically looking for the same thing that happened when we got that first push up here for the monthly. Somewhere around 67, 68. 68 if it's going to be that 1-to-1. But yeah, back into those lows right there. That's the final move I'm looking for. Then from there, we'll determine the rest. But that's the final move I'm looking for right now. It's looking good. It's just the volume is not there. I don't. Volume just isn't there. Let me just my a little bit. I hate I gave that. um, my TP, I think my last TP was. I don't even know where my last TP was. I know it wasn't. I know I didn't take profit down here anywhere. So I needed my hedge position. Look at that. I have yet to TP on this one because it was just a hedge against my short, which I got stopped out of. Hmm, checks. That came across kind of parallel for that reason. Yeah, we've basically just been walking the line. If you look at momentum here on these time frames, we've basically just been walking the line. So, how can this work? Um, I'm never good with this brush tool whatsoever. Say if we do make it up here, which is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for this liquidity here to be taken. Uh, Entry potentially VWAP. Just say that at whatever point it gets here. If it does something like this right here, it could dance on top of this right here, okay? And then break back in. That's doable. I actually like that. If it were to get outside here and start to consolidate and then break back into the pattern, I like that too. Uh, just not feeling this Trash volume. We don't think any of that's gonna matter. In terms of the next resistance zone, um, it's all the way up here based on daily. It's all the way up there. That's why I think that this wouldn't be anything more than a scalp, um, or yeah, some sort of a scalp position. Is all I think that this could end up being. And then of course we would continue to push higher. Like I said, the 1 to 1 is around 68,000, so 67, 68, 67 in terms of the lower resistance. Um, the prior low resistance is at 67, and then the 1 to 1 is at 68. So, um, yeah, but definitely some. We're toppy. We're toppy. Look here, you can see. But again, like I said, we're putting in bullish consolidation as we reset really quickly. We're putting in bullish consolidation, but we're very toppy in here on the 15. We're toppy in here on the 1 hour. In here, we're toppy in here on the 4 hour right here. We're toppy. And of course, the daily is still sitting in here, but the daily did get. I mentioned this before that we could walk the line. You can always walk the line. So pretty much what we're doing, but we're on all of these time frames, we're sitting at a toppy zone, very toppy zone, very toppy. So I'm gonna shoot my shot for sure. I'm gonna shoot my shot because we're quite toppy. But we can't always walk the line. We can always walk the line as long as that momentum is still rising. We can walk the line. And again, you can see the bullish dips underneath here. In other news, the last discussion we had on Zcash was looking to take a position around the 786 to the trend line right in here, hoping that it would be an ABC correction. I said if you weren't interested in taking the long position and you were more interested in shorting, then maybe it could be an ABC correction. Thank goodness. I mean, you would have had to wait to make a decision on the short. But as far as the long was concerned, didn't quite tap into the trend line right here. That's Zcash for you, though. Zcash doesn't ever quite do what you're looking for it to do. Um, but it did come down into the 786 retracement. You don't notice it. Let me see. That's what the box is there for, to identify the golden pocket in 786. And then we're pairing it with the ascending trend line. And if it was going to be an ABC, so if you were somebody who didn't feel, who wasn't bullish, of course, you'd be looking for a a B to stop out around a 618, which didn't happen in here. Apparently, you can see that it didn't happen in here. We're way up to about a 0.886 right now. Yeah, you're well above a 0.886 right now. So that didn't happen. You would have been looking for your B wave to stall out somewhere around there, and then look for the drop down here into this trend line right here for your C wave. So that did not happen here with Z. Um, Congrats to anybody who's still holding on to this long position. I'm not. But congratulations to anybody who might still be hanging into that. This was looking like, uh, of course, you know what I do whenever we do a 382 50% hold. I look for the extension. So from the high to the low, you are still coming back into the 786. If you look at it um, like this. This is just the extension. I mean, yeah, that's the extension, but in terms of the retracement, it's still just at this point in time, it's still just a move back into that 786 retracement right there. So you could have drawn it any kind of way, to be honest with you. I'm using that low to that high to that low to, um, to factor in the extension from a 382 bounce. But it is still just that retracement right there. You can take it higher up if you're feeling bullish on it. I'm not gonna. It's just doing whatever Bitcoin is doing at this point. Daily time frame for Zcash does look nice. I will give it that credit that the daily does look nice. Um, I was paying attention to the daily VWAP, not daily VWAP, but the daily MACD. Does it do what it did over here? I don't know. I don't know. But momentum is still increasing here from this entry. Like there was never a solid reason to have to close the position out. I just didn't want to sit in it any longer, to be honest with you. I just didn't want to sit in it any longer. And I get like that. And every time I end up closing out Zcash just 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 goes to the moon. Just goes to the moon. But momentum is still rising here on the daily time frame. MACD above zero line on the daily time frame. MACD looking to cross above the delta on the daily time frame. What does that lead you to? Potentially something like over here. Potentially something like that. MACD above zero. MACD gets above delta. MACD continues higher. Momentum still rising. Um, so, I mean, the daily time frame looks pretty decent. It's pretty decent. I like it. This was another time over here. MACD above delta, above zero. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom, boom. You can see Zcash didn't even come back into the golden pocket when we decided to take this entry. It didn't have to. It just didn't have to do it. It didn't have to do it because it doesn't always. It behaves differently. It just behaves differently. A little bit of a bear div here on the daily time frame, but mm, It's Zcash. It is Zcash. So you can see right here, that was your 786 retracement that we were looking for back into the ascending trend line right here, which I didn't take it. Again, I just don't, I'm not able to trade a lot of stuff at the same time. Sometimes I'm just not willing to focus on trading everything at the same time. I just choose my battle and let that be it. Let's take a look at Hyperliquid. It's not moving as aggressively with Bitcoin. If you look at it on a 15-minute, it looks a little bit better. But it's not moving as aggressively as Bitcoin. the most solid thing I can find right now, hyperliquid, is gonna be this little channel right here, which is being respected at the moment, but if it does break to the upside, which I'm assuming that it will, it is putting in, some bullish consolidation here. You can see the bull dips coming in underneath despite the bearish divergence at the highs. It's really all about this part down here at the moment, until it stops working. It's working right now. Um, so assuming that it's gonna get a break to the upside, I would look for it to push into the golden pocket, potentially into the, one-to-one of the channel break here. Right now, it is respecting it. If you were looking to get long, it would be nice if it did come back down here and back test the bottom side of this channel. That would actually be nice. And I'd say that's gonna happen, but that would be where I would be interested in taking an entry at on Hyperliquid if it could come back into right here. But chances of that happening don't seem strong. But that would be my criteria for it to come back down into this bottom side of this channel right here to take an entry. Yeah, right there. And if you can get that, then I would, it's a nice risk to reward there. Right. All right. So oil. Let's take a look at that. 'Cause I know I was on this yesterday saying that was looking at this. It's holding this the 382 50% retracement, but I went ahead and killed the idea of the long position because below here, in my opinion, it's no longer behaving like that's what it's going to do, even though it's still holding the 382 50% retracement. I mean, it could, this is actually a bullish hold. It's a bullish hold, but for me personally, when it broke below here, I just had to consider it just a continuation of lower lows and lower highs and lower lows. But it is attempting to continue to hold the 382 50% retracement. Like I said yesterday, if you were looking at this as a 1, 2, 3, and this a possible 4 that's taking place right now, 4 is really hard to figure out sometimes. I like to see it hold around the 382.50, but in the case of oil, it can still drop down to the 618 and not invalidate a single thing because the invalidation comes if it drops all the way back here and touches the top part of here. So if it kisses this high, then that's the invalidation. It's not invalidated right now. And four can go on forever before it chooses to make a decision. Um, but if you're somebody who, you know, the taco stuff that we tend to get, it's not invalidated yet. It can still be just that. It can still be a 1, 2, 3. This still looks fine. This still absolutely looks fine. It doesn't It's not something I can't trade it anyway, and it's not something that I like, um, right now, but it's still holding the bullish duo, still holding it. So that hasn't changed. mean, still looks decent on this. It's not, I guess we'll find out some point today. It is Friday. It is Friday. CMU rejected. So we're above 1,000. We did get that rejection back below that VWAP there. We talked about the potential of this gap being filled yesterday. It didn't happen when market opened, but it's filled now and it's moving away. So, uh, yeah, it's filled now. Nothing much has changed about SpaceX since we looked at it yesterday either. Was looking to see if we could get into this VWAP, potentially the top side of this range, and pretty close, but I still don't see a reason for me to want to jump into this. This is still just that measured move from that initial wedgie structure that we had in here. So if you're seeing this, that's what that is. Covered that with you yesterday. Um, the invalidation for this being a wave um, three is going to be coming back into that low right there. That's going to be the invalidation. That's why we were looking to see if we couldn't get into here, but that's going to be the invalidation if it comes up into there. So thus far, somewhere around this 1 to 1, leaving the wicks on the bottom side of it, no actual closure, no definitive. Well, nothing significant. Try to find a way to say it. So I would be looking for if it is a wave three, I'd be looking for it to hit the 1.618 Fibonacci extension level down there. But thus far, I'm not touching it. I still don't see anything. Yeah, I'm not touching it. I would like to get it lower anyway. Under $100 would be absolutely fantastic. Under 100, see what SPY is looking like. It's talking about the potential short position here on SPY. It looks like SPY might not want to do this short, but the idea is that let's see if we couldn't use this right here. And like I said, I put it here because basically this is where the momentum came in. This is where bears stepped in like aggressively to push price down right here. So just giving it a chance right here. Uh, haven't taken out this high here just yet. That was the other option if you were interested in, trying to take this as a short position right here, would have been to put the stop right here, which is a much, 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 much tighter stop. This is against this high right here. Just because I feel like this wasn't really enough. This right here is to really invalidate the idea of price action dropping back down towards this ascending trend line here or going even lower. it would be to put it up against this high right here. So it's a good invalidation. We'll see how things go when market opens. Uh, and this is such an aggressive entry. It was not based on the idea of seeing how price reacts around the level. It's just a straight up aggressive entry to be closer to being invalidated if it's wrong. Um, that's the whole idea. It's a 0.76, so it's not a huge risk. And if you had done it from here, you could see it's just a 0.19% risk. So it could be killed at any point if that's you. Okay. If that's you. I just didn't like this high particularly. This one over here actually did take liquidity from this low, and therefore I put it here. We'll see how it goes. They just decide to blast out and come all the way up here again, um, to the top side of this ascending, which I may need to move this um, to reflect this high right here. So far, um, so far, so far it's looking decent. Looking decent so far. Um, there was AVGO that was looking really nice um, yesterday. It did start to catch a little bit of a bid um, around the resistance area here, the descending trend line here for whatever pattern formation this is, and of course the pivot here. Um, it's just been kind of stuck like this. So it's just been kind of stuck. So um, this was us at one point just looking for it to either continuing to reject around here because it was putting in the bear divs, which that worked. That worked. I can take this alarm off of this because that was old. Oh, okay. It's already been deleted. Okay, great. Well, why are you still showing up then? Um, it was something else I was sharing on ABGO. I know what I was saying. I would like to get an entry on ABGO, but from lower, if possible. I don't know if I was looking at the 24-hour. No, it wasn't 24-hour. I don't know if I was looking at. Anyway, I will entertain a long position if it pulls back into. Well, I don't have a long idea for it. Not right now. It's still holding up right now until it didn't get far at all yesterday. Until gap back down over the gap up. Gap back down over the gap up. Dang. We really fighting intel. I got interested in taking this Intel loan. I shared that with you, but I didn't take it because I don't like Intel around these prices. I think it's beyond what it can really do, to be honest with you. It's just another Donald Trump thing right now, government thing or whatever you at these prices it is. So we were pushing up yesterday, we were coming into the resistance level right here. Either it's resistance or it will manage to break out. I was assuming that if it did, then it would come back here, maybe back test here, and then reject. It did a mean reversion apparently. Did it before it even got to the mean, because yeah, that's what we were looking at yesterday. I was saying maybe it gets back to the mean, but it rejected well before it even got to the mean. Uh, yeah, it didn't even get to the trend line. Didn't even get up there to it. So it's still holding up in that support area right there, though. Still possible. Still possible that it comes up and still back test this area some kind of way and then reject, or you can just use the zone right here. Look for it to reject from the lower bounds of that um, of this zone right here. Momentum is still up, even though it's slanted down. It's still not bad. Still not bad. MACD still rising, still positive. Slope is still positive on Delta as well. So could just be a little bit of a pullback for a little higher low, and then continuation could be something like this right here, and then continue up higher. Um, I will wait to see how it reacts around this trend line right here. The regression line here on the RSI. I want to see how momentum actually does by coming into contact with this, and then I think about it. Pretty close to an invalidation if you were doing it now, but not me. Not me. Let me jump back over here and look at the video. So nothing's changed for Ethereum as we were looking at it yesterday. Kind of doing it the same thing as Bitcoin. We had the 382 50% retracement, and I just wanted to put the boxes in here instead. The VWAP low, held the VWAP down there, and then of course the VWAP high right here. So be looking for it to break to the upside. I would be looking for a bearish retest into the 38250. So that's the bearish duo at the upside, 382 50% retracement in here. For Ethereum, if it takes a liquidity from this side right here, then maybe the 382, something like that. Um, if it takes that liquidity right there. I don't think that this had anything similar to Bitcoin. Yeah, it didn't have like the symmetrical situation going on in here like Bitcoin. Um, I don't think I need to really take this too far. Um, do want to add one more little zone in here. I'm just trying to see. There's a lot happening right in here. Might have to make it two more. Um, it's kind of weird. This is really close. I'm just doing away with my old zones for now. For now, doing away with my old zones. I'm gonna go ahead and do the ones to the downside. Take away that 32. Let's see. I'm sorry. You have a question. I can. You say, "Are you serious?" I just don't know what you're referring to, mom child. If you can clarify, then I can tell you if I'm serious or not. I just want to do this one last zone in here, and then that's it. So this is just going to be my updated zones for price action to find the confluence here. So again, obviously, if Bitcoin manages to break out pretty decently, again, we will be looking for this liquidity here to be taken, this high liquidity and this high liquidity right here to be taken. Could possibly get some sort of a reaction around the 382 Fibonacci retracement level, or perhaps even this little wick right here. So um, it would be for a scalp. So let's just assume some sort of an SFP. So we do want to see it break it and then fail. So I'm putting this ever so slightly above the 382 and drop it down to at least a 1, like so like that. But we would want to see it swing fail first, so we have to break above it and then come back in to consider. So that would be an S&P play right there. And then the next option, I'm just going to do the 50% up here for a potential short position on Ethereum. I'm going to put it. Actually, I'm gonna put it back here because I like to see it reclaim back in if that's going to be the situation. So if it breaks outside of the resistance zone right here, we want to see it reclaim back into the resistance zone. Then that would be the other short option here for Ethereum. I missed the pump on ePay last night by 10 minutes. What's up, Y Crypto YT? How are you doing, my friend? You missed the Ethereum? I have not traded Ethereum in such a long time. Ethereum Ethereum was looking like it was gonna outperform Bitcoin though, on the Ethereum versus Bitcoin pair last time we looked at it. Did you ever you never took it? You never took it, I'm assuming, because you see you missed that pump on ETH last night by 10 minutes. That's how I be feeling too, like I'm too late, but then you end up realizing you're not too late to actually take it, but that's how I feel too. When it moves away, I'd be like, "It's too late. It's too late." Nothing for me to do here. It's too late. But that would be my thoughts here on Ethereum. Because you will have this liquidity here. You will have this liquidity here, which sits relatively closer towards this liquidity here. You will have that. So in the event that we do start taking liquidity, which was the last upside liquidity that we took. Yeah, I mean, why stop here? Let's just go all the way into that 382. Something like that will make more sense to me. And then, like I said up here, about the 50% retracement right here into the next resistance zone up here, the higher side of the resistance zone. That would be right there. That's what I think in terms of short for Ethereum. If it gives more, it gives more, but it just, you know, in terms of exhaustion. Sui and Soul. Solana's been doing pretty good. We got the bullish divs in here yesterday. That VWAP or you saw how when I did that value area range, that was also the value area high. But bull divs lower low on momentum, higher low in price action. So it was a nice little move right there for Ethereum. Ethereum on this 4-hour time frame. Do we have momentum over here? We do. It's getting pretty toppy. Let me see what the one toppy just like Bitcoin. Yeah, toppy just like Bitcoin. But momentum is still rising, so yeah, it would. It is still rising. We're gonna rise straight into a bear div. It looks like unless we invalidate, we're gonna rise straight into a bear div. But I assume it's more of a liquidity game right now. And then you have that VWAP there. I'm going on the liquidity side of things, so looking for liquidity to be taken for short entries. Um, so Do that VWAP descending trend line right here as well. Yeah, Solana's been doing pretty good. Let me go to another time frame. Oh, this is supposed to be the daily. Ethereum, I mean, Solana didn't even pull it back that far. See a little, this looks more similar to Bitcoin with this little inside range we got right here. Mother bar here. And these little candles on the inside right here. I'm just going to pull this part right here and take a look at it in a lower time frame. Let me go 15. No, go 1 hour. Yeah, it goes well above it. Oh, I see that cute little triangle formation right here. That's cute. Yeah, that didn't do me no good whatsoever, other than to assume that it manages to get back to the mother bar high, which would be into these lows in here somewhere. I mean, that's it. Um, structure wise, it doesn't look the best, but it could be leading. Uh, just trying something. Take a reading. Nah, say no to that. It does look a little rising, but again, it could be something that breaks to the upside. Yeah, it could be something that still breaks up. Toppy, toppy, little clean rejection. I'm just gonna double check my situation. a situation on my trend line. All right, that's good. No funny trend lines. I just want to take a measured move just in case it does. I just want to see what it lands at. I'm not gonna be perfect with this, guys. Um, not gonna be. I'm not gonna be perfect getting in on there, but that's the space. The gap in between does put it back to this zone right here, where it had multiple rejections, multiple prior rejections at right in there. The upside to the downside. I don't know if the downside situation could happen or would happen. It's pretty steep. That would be like a 88.886 if I was pulling it off of that low to that high. That's what that would be at. It's kind of steep. Um, or maybe a double bottom or something like that. But perhaps good reactionary level. It happens. It happens. It's something to watch for. Solanza. Let me zoom out a little bit more. Solanza. That's what we were looking at the last time. We're looking for a sweep of liquidity above the mother bar there and the rejection, which it ended up getting. It did end up getting that sweep of liquidity above the mother bar and the rejection there, holding support around 78, 73. Okay. Uh, this is interesting. Mm, mean, we did reclaim that level that did reclaim the level here right now. We are holding it as support. Can we continue to hold it? Right now, I must have did that 10 off. I remember when we put these on the chart. Um, I remember that. I must have did it 10 off. I'm just trying to see if that's what I did. No, I don't know why it's all the way up there. That's the mother bar right there. So I don't know why it's up here. I know this one is looking at the VWAP. Looks a little, I mean, we were just looking at that. Looks a little risy, but can be a 3 inside up. Ethereum. I mean, Solana got so much resistance through here. So much resistance through here. If I were gonna loan, Solana, I would do it from I would want this to break down, and I would take it from let me put this back on Bitcoin, I'm sorry. And I would wanna take it from put this on that daily. I don't wanna take it from what it missed, because when it got to drop down, I would have preferred this right here. Can't say that it's gonna come this low again, but if I were gonna long it, I wouldn't mind taking it from here. From where it is now, again, it can be a 3 inside up. So mother bar, you looking for this high right here to be taken out right above that golden pocket. So naturally you're looking for that to be taken out. So 80.78. Let's pull back. Mm, well, there's a bullish pullback. I couldn't get that long entry. I would just be looking short, to be honest, because it is in the middle of the range. So I do like the mother bar high over here. I like the mother bar high. Actually put it on that mother bar high right there at a point 50. Uh, that can be minimized even more for a tighter validation. Even if it pushes through that mother bar and takes out this liquidity right here, you're not trying to enter aggressively. So you're not just trying to limit order into it. You do want to see it take the liquidity above the bar, then fail to maintain above it and fall back below it. That would be the idea. I know a lot of people are still looking for a strong rotation to the downside. If you were to get it, then of course you get a lot more out of the retracement. I'm just going to set it uh, back for that. And the second option would be on a more aggressive push to the upside. It would have to be this area right here again, since it did see multiple rejections around this area in here. So know that this can offer strong resistance through here for Solana. That's a lot higher up. That's well past the 786, but it never seemed to have an issue to push through here to get higher. So I would have to think higher myself, which is a big difference. So that, I mean, that would just be my next zone. Will be something right in here. If I couldn't get the long, desirable long entry, which have to be lower. Another tap into 382 would be a long side entry. Since if this were to break down, it measures out to probably give it like a double bottom. It would be that. And then, of course, lower into this zone down here. You either already have to be long on Solana or you have to be looking for a short at this point. Unless you're a breakout trader and you feel confident about the breakout. That's my standard. That will have to be my standard. Bitcoin still holding that little area. I'm gonna look at SUI. I haven't looked at SUI in a long time. I think this was my daily time frame. Let's see why I got this big box down here. Is my bear market low or something? Oh, still not liquidity. Let's see what I was last looking at on SUI. I don't know why this doesn't look right. Hold on. Yeah, that's correct in this box. I haven't looked at this in a long time, so I don't know what has changed. I don't know if I got a new. I know these levels won't change, but I might have something new in here from the terms of the weekly. Apparently, the last time I looked at it was looking at a rejection from here. I apparently was buying Susie. I remember that. I don't know what this trend line is for. Get rid of that. I mean, Susie is at the weekly low. I don't know why this doesn't read. Or I think the last time I looked at Suey too, I had a fear that if we lost our weekly average range below, that we could potentially come down into this point right here. I don't know how heavy that still is, uh, but we didn't do that. We've been holding it, so that's outstanding. Put in a bear div into that low. Momentum is rising on the weekly. That's good. It's still in relative weakness, still below 40 on the RSI, which is relative weakness, but positive nonetheless and has remained positive with no higher low to be had. Looked like it was a back test. I'm gonna zoom out just a sec. Not a respectable back test. Bear dividend, still bear dividend. But momentum is rising. Even over here, it's rising. But freaking, there it is. What's this? This actually looks pretty decent. Oh yeah, oh yeah, this is the start of something good. Possible inverse head and shoulder. I do see the bullish dip that came off the low here once we dropped into the average range low a couple of days late, but that actually helps a lot in that this little drop right here. I can tell that it looks like it's about to get some sort of a MA. I'm not even looking at the MACD. I'm just imagining it in my mind that it's possible. Let me see what this is. I don't know what I got over here. I think I got momentum in here. I don't think I have MACD. Yeah, I don't have MACD in here. But it looks that way. I can tell you from here. This looks pretty good. This looks like it is a valid inverse head and shoulder at play. It looks like it. Positive momentum underneath this candle right now. I can tell that once it does break above here, which you don't have to wait on that at all, but I could just tell once it does break above here, it's gonna be the first time it's had a positive, uh, MACD cross, which is not the end all be all, but I could tell that would be a likelihood right there for it. Uh, volume look like. good. Had a small little inside range right here. You've already done a three inside up right here because you had a harami, two candle harami pattern right here. You've already taken out this high right here. This is a daily time frame. Already under control. Um, Looks a lot like Diddy, right? So golden pocket value area low bounce, reacting at, start from here first. Want to control 76. Let me pull this up. Want to control and golden pocket reaction. On a long entry, you got two places to look at, really. Um, let's see what that Rami breakout right here. Typically, you want to hold where you break out from. You don't want to come back and invalidate that. So typically, that's what you want to do. The gap right between that, though. Bitcoin got a three inside down right now. Um, 1 hour time frame hasn't broken down, but it does have some sort of little triangle on that 1 hour time frame. You can see it more, a lot better. But it's doing for a lower time frame. I just happened to glance over at my other screen and notice it. Typically, you don't want to come back into where you break out from. Um, in this case, for SUI, it's better to catch it close to an invalidation if you want. If you still want it to long it, it's just better to catch it at an invalidation. I'm gonna adjust this time frame. Closer to an invalidation would be another test back towards this low with the stop loss below. um, this pivot low right here, below the value area low of the range. Unless you were banking on the value area low as an entry, which that would be the invalidation in my opinion. I actually like where we found strength at right here and using this as the um, invalidation. Could just be a liquidity sweep, but it's still better to do it that way and then reassess if it's a good entry. The only other good entry is going to be back to the demand zone down here, down here at the demand zone, which wouldn't invalidate the idea of an inverse head and shoulders, even if that were to happen. It wouldn't invalidate it. It would just simply, how symmetrical triangles are. Sometimes you end up breaking down and then reclaiming. Sometimes you end up breaking out and reclaiming. But it's just a better entry because you really don't have a good enough invalidation. Like you have a huge, you risk a lot more capital trying to take it from where it is, and it just rejected from the golden pocket and the point of control. So it just looks like a more, either sometimes you get it, sometimes you just have to look at another coin. But that looks better. I appreciate you, Crypto YT. Always appreciate you on Sui. That would be my thoughts. Maybe it holds here, maybe it doesn't. If you're already long, then you don't really have a lot to worry about because your stock would be at break even. But if you're looking to long it, I just wouldn't recommend trying to long it from here personally. I'm not a scalper. Maybe a scalper would take something like this on this back test. I just wouldn't. I would be looking down here. I'm looking more for a swing, less risk, with the clear invalidation, which would be taking out the low right here. Let me, oh, that's basically suggesting it is. Momentum Still decent on the 4 hour. Yeah, I wouldn't look at that. This should be golden pocket, but I don't know. And it is. So that, hold on. What did I say? Should be. No, that's 786. Okay. So 786 retracement. I like that. That's where the momentum came in at. So if it does fall back inside of the range right here for where it got the Harami breakout, if it does fall back inside this range, ideally I would look down here for a long entry on SUI. And unfortunately, I have got to get out of here myself. That's what I would look for. If you were interested in taking a loan and you just wanted to be close to an invalidation, that just makes more sense to me. Then, I mean, you can chance it right here if you want to. You can take a chance, set your stop loss. I mean, I don't really know what to tell you to set your stop loss. Maybe use these prior lows in here, these wick lows in here as support level. Risky, but I mean, you can do something like that. Hey, I like it. I think that this can hold right here. If Bitcoin's going to roll over, it doesn't look like it too much right now, but um, I mean, that's the only other thing I can think of. You can see it did hold support through here 1, 2 times right in here. Um, could do something like that, banking on the idea of it not falling back inside of this range. Otherwise, I would just look for something a little bit lower, greater risk to reward, um, or pursue it when it breaks to the upside. You can always do that too. If it looks right, pursue it up there. It's not no bad chart though. It's not a bad chart. 15 minute. Yeah, I mean, that's your option. That was your option to be a little bit more risky and maybe consider that. You don't want to see it fall back in. Maybe consider that. Finish it out to the upside of to the value area high. Um, if you were feeling a little bit more risky, that was it right there. Otherwise, it's a waiting game, in my opinion. Ooh, that's pretty steep. Uh-oh, not that. Let me see. Yeah. Yeah, that's all I got. Uh, Bitcoin shows violence. That's what I was just looking at this inside pattern right here. It actually ended up being a three inside down, and then it recovered. Like I said, it's usually around 8 o'clock. The market starts to react a little bit more around 8 o'clock. Let's see if we get this bear deal to play out. I'm still holding on to the little long position. No short entry for me just yet. I am still looking forward to get up a little bit higher. If I have to pursue something later because I'm wrong, then I just pursue something later because I'm wrong. Okay, right now it is still holding. Right now momentum is still pinned up, but ugh, I want to see that mother bar get taken. That's it. I just gotta. I want to see that get taken. Don't mean it happens, but I want to see it get taken. So this value area high keeps changing. That's why I don't like. Why I don't like it sometimes. Hit supply zone. Still rising. Yep. Not financial advice. It's just what I'm waiting on. You feeling good? Go ahead, take a short. I'm out.